welcome to QI. Tonight we look through both telescope and microscope at the quite interesting world of little and large. Joining us tonight are the gigantic Phil Jupiters, the massive Richard Osman, the titanic Lucy Porter, and, oh my gosh, he's so teeny-weeny I could squish him, Alan Davies. Now, let's go large on your little buzzers. Phil goes.
Hey, big spender, spend a little time with me.
Big spender. Richard goes.
Big John. Big John.
Big Bad John.
Lucy goes.
Big girls don't cry. Big girls don't cry.
And Alan goes.
It was an itsy-bitsy-teeny-weeny
Lovely. Now, during this L series of QI, we have a spend a penny joker. You should use it if you think one of the answers in today's show is of a lavatorial bent. So, what's the largest native land animal that you'll find all year round on Antarctica?
I don't think there are any land animals on Antarctica. Humans? Human beings?
Ooh! I did say...
The line between clever and stupid is so thin.
I did say native. Obviously, there are humans.
I beg.
Yeah, there are natives.
It's a penguin, a big penguin.
Ow!
I mean, right, OK, so it's not that because I made the evil siren go off.
Would it be whales?
A whale isn't a land animal.
If the water melts really quickly, it is.
I will give you a clue. You've already said penguin, but it's a flightless animal, but it's not a big mammal.
Given that it is big and little and large, is it very wee?
It is actually very small, although it's the largest.
Is it krill? I just like saying krill.
I like saying krill, too.
Is it a mosquito or something?
It's an insect. You're in the right direction. It's like a mosquito. Mosquitoes are like... If you go to Scotland, what do you get?
A ladybird.
Midge. It's a midge.
It's a... a midge.
Belgica, Antarctica. The Belgian, as you might say, midge. There it is. It's wingless, flightless. It's a midge. And the point is, it's native to Antarctica. There are all kinds of animals, like humans, like penguins, that spend a bit of their time in Antarctica. Penguins only 25% of the time. 75% of their time, they're at sea. They're not a land animal.
Ah, but we're married to the sea. Penguins, we love the life. Away from our nagging wives with their beaks and their wings sitting on eggs.
There they are. Oh, bless. What is it about them that is so endearing?
They're delicious. That's good eating.
Talking of humans not being native to Antarctica, there's a story the other day about the American scientist who's there and he decided to turn Tinder on. You know Tinder, the dating app.
Oh, yes.
And he got a date with a woman in a tent 45 minutes away. He was also...
You're kidding me! That's hilarious.
That'd be great if she came up and he went, nah, swipe
No,
right.
swipe
Yeah.
Grinder, however, all penguin.
But if they were to mate, say, have a child, raise that child there, suddenly...
That child would be endemic or native to Antarctica.
Yeah, and by the time this goes out on Dave, everyone will be like... about the Tinder baby. Midge. Yeah, Tinder baby.
You're right. I have to pull it in.
They've got Wi-Fi, that's the best thing about that.
Yeah, Wi-Fi on Antarctica.
That's good going.
Yeah, it is
Those penguins
impressive.
are all hooked up. They're all the same.
Their version of Tinder is called Pick Up a Penguin.
Very good. So, now, identify the world's biggest gas bag.
Oh, Lord. John McCruick.
It's a very good answer.
An actual bag of actual gas.
That would probably be the best way to go. Without... Without hinting too much.
Presume something like the Hindenburg, an airship, an enormous airship. Perhaps.
Well, kind of like an airship, yes, though in fact even bigger. This is the biggest such device ever constructed
Is
by
it the
man.
one that Bruce Dickinson from Iron Maiden is involved with?
How extraordinary you are. No. But I'm very impressed that you should know of that.
Now, I met him about 5 years ago. He said he was invested a huge amount of money, and it's about 200 feet, 300 feet long or something. It's absolutely enormous. There's pictures of it. It looks like an arse, the way it's
That's
built.
it. It does. There it is,
In
like
its
an
hangar.
arse.
But it's in a hangar that's so big it has its own climate.
Yes.
Has clouds and
Yep.
all sorts of...
Why, oh, why, oh, why?
Did he do it? Well, because for commercial reasons.
Yeah.
It's like
Oh,
to
it
replace...
goes 100 miles per hour?
Yeah, it's like properly quite impressive.
Have they sorted out the whole, you know, Hindenburg
No,
fiery
they
death
decided not
element?
to worry about it.
It can carry 50 tons. It can stay in the air for 3.5 weeks. But the difference between that and the Hindenburg is, do you know what the...
It's not full of hydrogen,
Well,
I
that's
take
it. The Hindenburg and the earlier airships are full of hydrogen, which is incredibly flammable. Not just incredibly or intensely, but incredibly.
Well, that's yeah, which is why it blew up.
That's why it blew up, because it was incredibly flammable.
What have I told you about reading Jabberwocky before you present it?
It makes it incredibly dangerous.
So, yes, that was a really good interruption.
Is this
as
a
it were.
naturally occurring gas bag?
No, it isn't. It is the biggest ever bag of gas created by humankind.
Does it have a purpose? So it has a purpose other than storing the gas?
It had a purpose in as much as it broke 3 records, which are better remembered than this record. What are the 3 records you might think of in terms of a balloon?
Height, distance,
Yes.
and number of deaths.
There were no deaths. There were no deaths in this case.
Is it loudest pop?
Not...
Most excited child?
Who jumped out of a really high balloon?
Oh,
Felix Baumgartner.
Yeah.
Felix Baumgartner is the right answer. This is the... Yeah. So, Felix Baumgartner, there he is. He fell from a greater height than anyone has ever fallen.
Right.
He achieved a greater speed than anyone has fallen, which made him the first man ever to what?
Break the sound barrier.
Break the sound barrier unaided. And it was the highest balloon ascent ever. Those are 3 records. The highest balloon ascent, biggest free fall.
Do you know what else it was, Stephen?
What's that?
It was incredibly dangerous.
But it was the largest balloon ever constructed. And let's have a look at how big it was. It was bigoted.
Whoa.
It was bigoted than the Statue of Liberty.
It was more bigoted than the statue.
What is the
What's going on?
Bigot.
Just get rid of this one, get another one in.
Give me your paw, you're
warehouse
tired, and
needs
tell them to piss off.
What they call it in Carry On World is the Statue of Diabolical Liberty. Anyway, it is gigantic. It's almost as tall as St Paul's Cathedral, but taller, as you can see, the Statue of Liberty by a few feet. But the comparison with the Hindenburg is interesting, which is one... You know the Hindenburg you mentioned, I think, didn't you? There's the Hindenburg. And the Hindenburg burst into flames catastrophically in New Jersey at the Lakehurst Naval Air Station. There it is. I mean, just awful. It was so sophisticated inside, incredible.
That is sophisticated.
Yeah, and they even had a cigarette lighter, although it was hydrogen, one of the most flammable gases there is. But it was chained.
Cigarette, yes, please.
I like to live
What's that
dangerously.
Can anyone smell gas? Don't be absurd.
The cigarette lighter was chained to one place, so you could go up and light your cigarette. But everyone wore special shoes that didn't create friction and static electricity to create a spark that would set it off. But something went wrong. In the movie, it's supposedly sabotage. So there you are. What use is a blue whale at a birthday party? Alan, I'll give you a chance here. I know how you love blue whales. It's not a blue, actually. We should have offered you a blue, but in fact, that is a hump. It's a humper.
That's not real, that photo, is it?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yes. Alan's a diver.
A blue whale at a birthday party. Well, they take up a lot of room. You need a big hall.
Yeah.
It's good. I think you're getting there.
Yeah. That's good encouragement. Thanks, Richard.
That's okay.
I think it'd be fun for the kids to get inside, couldn't they? Play
True.
around.
Bouncy castle?
Bouncy arsehole, did you say?
No. I didn't, but by all means.
Oh, Bouncy Castle.
Bouncy Castle.
Oh, yeah, I see what you mean, yeah.
I'd like to hire a bouncy arsehole if I may.
Oops. No, list things that you need for children's
Well,
books.
my
I'm
kids...
thinking candles.
Yeah,
Candles is one.
my kids love ambergris, so
You're quite right, ambergris does come from a
it'd be
whale,
a
but...
natural for a blue... right, cake.
Parcel.
Pass the parcel.
Balloons.
Yes!
Balloons.
Balloons.
A big whale balloon. Whales filled
Why
with
would a
helium.
blue whale be useful at a
Because it
children's
can
party?
fill up... It's got the largest breath in the world.
Yes, because in one breath, a blue whale could inflate 1,250 balloons.
OK,
That's a spoilt child.
I take that... I take that point, but I'm fairly sure it's never happened.
But also, logistically, it would be almost impossible.
Like, whales live to be very old as well, don't they? So I would like
yes.
one at my birthday party to make me feel both young and slim.
Yes. Whales aren't particularly slim, though, Lucy.
No, but I would next to a whale.
Oh, I see, next to a whale. Yeah, I'm sorry, I'm so
I'm not asking
stupid.
for much of a compliment,
No,
Steve.
no,
Just, you know.
I do
You're
apologise.
not going to be able to get next to the whale because he's in the balloon shed, pumping away. One. Two.
Just going, those dolphins have it easy, don't they?
I'm going to give you some bags now and ask you to blow these up. Now, you may say that's easy enough.
Ah, time for the controversial autoerotic asphyxiation round.
Oh, don't, that's so rude. There you are.
Here we go.
That's terrible.
I'd just like a belt and a tangerine now.
So you're blowing up. What you're doing is you're trying to blow... All right.
Look, how clever she
How
is.
did you do that? I'll show you here. It's called the Bernoulli effect. OK, watch this. One blow. So there you are. Just one blow from a distance, like that, which you did. So you get the points there, Lucy. That's very impressive. So put them away now. You can put them away now. But that's the Bernoulli effect, which is rather impressive, isn't it? You can try that at home, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Go to the little cupboard under the sink, boys and girls, where Mummy keeps all those little bin liners.
And her gin.
Yeah, don't put them over your head, and just do that little effect. And then Mummy and Dad will be very impressed.
Stephen, tell me to do it, Mummy!
Now, who said the most beautiful girl or woman in the world would be a matter of indifference to me, but tall soldiers, they are my weakness?
You did.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes.
That was very pleasing.
Was it someone who had a tall soldier pointing a gun at them at the time?
You think so? This person was obsessed with tall soldiers, tall people generally.
Was it my PA, Kelly?
She would be.
She is literally all she wants in the world, if you know anyone, is a ginger squaddy. It's all she wants. It's all she wants.
But a tall ginger
A tall
squaddy.
ginger squaddy, or failing that, a ginger roofer. So if you know anybody...
All right. You heard it here
Yeah.
first.
I do have I have an inkling about this, but I can't remember. It was a squadron Potsdam.
Oh, brilliant. Absolutely right. Yeah, there were the Potsdam giants. Yeah, absolutely right. It was King Friedrich Wilhelm I of Preuss, or Prussia, who was the father of Frederick the Great. And he became king in 1713, as you all know. And he was obsessed with tall soldiers. And he would kidnap them, he would recruit them, he would get them from any country that wanted to be in with Prussia, which was just growing as a power. He himself was only 5'5", so he wasn't very tall. But he just got them from all over the place. In fact, one of his tallest was a 7-foot Irishman called James Kirkland, who was a hero of the regiment of Potsdam giants. And he paid fathers for tall sons. He paid tall women to have sex with tall men so they could have tall sons. He was... and if he was...
He sounds like my kind of guy.
if he was unhappy, he'd get 200 or 300 of his giants.
Don't finish this
No,
sentence.
no. Preceded by tall turbaned Moors with cymbals and trumpets of the Grenadiers' mascot, an enormous bear, to march for him to cheer him up. And they'd do this through his bedroom if he was ill.
The march for him.
With a bear as
How big
well.
was his bedroom?
It must have been, well, enormous. He was an emperor.
He wants big men and a bear marching to strict rhythm, which you can find
Yes,
in Old
on-
Compton Street most Fridays.
I think he'd want them to do tall stuff.
Like reach
Yeah.
for each
Yeah,
high shelves.
stuff off shelves or something.
Yes, that's true, plucking.
I mean,
But
what's
you
the
know-
point of having them just walking up and down?
I don't know. He had his particular
The
thing.
reason I've heard of this is because when I got together with my husband, someone made this reference because I'm 4'11", my husband is 6'5", which is like
Justin.
Is that yes? In the bedroom, it's like a ventriloquism act that's gone really serious. Horrible image,
So
you know.
right.
But
Well, yes.
well, Frederick would have loved it, obviously.
Yeah.
But,
What does he make you do while he's drinking a pint of water? I bet it's not the alphabet.
Now, and almost 100 years, this regiment was part of the Prussian army.
Is that because they live longer?
No, I don't mean that each individual member. No, they did live longer.
They get gradually shorter.
It was a very...
to be tall.
Yes. King Frederick William of Prussia liked a tall soldier, but why was Sir Billy Butlin such a little devil?
Holiday camps.
Butlin's
Yes.
holiday camps?
Yeah.
Minehead, Scarborough, Filey...
But the,
Skegness.
Skegness. Yep.
but the chalet's little.
So, no, but Billy Butlin himself,
Was he tiny?
he was. And if you think about the age he is, you might be able to work this out.
Second World War.
No.
First World War.
First World War. That's the generation he was. And in the First World War, they had something to make people fight, which was called...
Bromide.
No. It was a law.
Oh, because
Conscription, yes.
Conscription.
But one of the things that could get you out of being conscripted was that if you were...
Tiny.
If you were small.
did he pretend to be bigger to?
No, he, as it were, fell under a particular desperation that the British Army...
Did they start a short army?
Yes,
Like the...
they literally did. Lord Derby, the Earl of Derby, said, now, hang on, there are a whole load of short people, as it were, getting under the wire. And all these tall people are fighting and dying for us. We want more people to die for us. There simply aren't enough people dying. And all these short people are living. So we're going to have a short brigade. And they were known as the Bantams, the Bantam Brigade. And they were... I know.
Presumably quite good. You could play on the opposition's, or, you know, the opposing army's sense of perspective.
Yeah.
Some way, you're like,
Those soldiers are really far away.
they have edges.
They are no danger to us.
These were men under 5'3", and Billy Butlin was one of them. They became known as the Devils, in fact, the Devil's Dwarfs, because they were so... their reputation for brawling and mischief. They were very, very aggressive. Here they are being inspected by a splendid man in a moustache. And
German shin injuries up 75%.
Our legs are being shot away from us. We do not know why.
Surely they should have just put them on each other's shoulders in a long coat.
the most famous of them was called Henry Thridgold, who was only 4'9", and he was believed to be the shortest soldier ever to have served in the British Army. There he is next to quite a tall Scottish soldier. But that's a short chap, but chirpy and cheerful and ready to lay down his life for our country.
I hope
Tell you what,
shake
that's,
hands with him.
Hey, now.
That's given my husband and I a whole new avenue for bedroom role play.
You be Henry, and I'll be a Scots Guard.
Well, there you are. So next time you go on a Butlin's holiday, you can say, well, thank you, Billy, for putting your life at risk, despite the fact that you weren't as tall as most soldiers.
And he survived.
He survived in order to create these holiday camps. Yeah.
With tiny beds.
With... Now, bearing in mind the Potsdam Giants and the Devil Dwarfs, what do you make of these? Alan?
Oh, no.
Yes, absolutely.
Strap on your feet
Phil,
to make you
could pass
taller.
those to Phil? Thank you.
Yeah.
Alan, these are for you.
I'm
I'm sort of guessing I'm not going to need any.
You're not. Lucy, these are for you. Whoa.
It's a Naomi Campbell moment coming on here, isn't
So,
it?
actually, we're going to do a little experiment. There's an artist called Hans Hemmert, and in 1997, he created a piece, an art project.
I've seen this.
Have you? It was called Level.
That's right.
And the idea was that he made these things so that everybody was 6.5 foot tall, essentially 2 meters, being a European. So you're 6'8"?
I'm 6'7".
6'7". You're 5'11". I'm 6'4" and a bit. You are
I'm 6 foot, but I've got creepers on, so I'm 6'1".
6'1" at the moment. And Donnie?
4'11".
See, I now
4'11".
can't see Lucy.
Yeah, we can't actually see her at the moment.
They are half my height, that's it.
So rather than get you to wear these, we've actually given you blocks. So we're all going to stand up to show what this artwork revealed. What you have to do, Richard, is duck down to be the same size as Alan.
All right.
I have to go on tiptoes to be a couple of inches taller. And you have to stand on your block. Come on,
Which one am I? This one?
There it is.
Oh, this one.
Philip will help you out. And we're now all the same height.
Oh.
It's an artwork. Isn't that astonishing?
You see what that's like, Lucy?
This is the happiest I've ever been.
You tire of it.
You're so far from the desk when you want
I
to
know,
write
right?
something down. When you want to pick your tea up, you've got to go all the way
know.
down.
It is hard with us because, you know, you have to move things onto higher shelves as children get older. I can't reach the cleaning fluids in my house now. I'm like a borrower. It's ridiculous.
So, let's sit down.
Careful now. Health
Yeah.
and safety!
The one thing when you are 6'7" or you're very tall is you endlessly get asked to be on police identity parades.
That's exactly what will
But
happen.
you do. Yeah, at least once
Yeah.
a week people say, yeah, 15 minutes, do you, sir? I think because they don't have a ready pool of people to do it.
That's
And a lot of
bizarre.
tall people commit crimes.
Yes, they do.
Oh, yeah.
No,
And we get
I'm an
away with
example.
it.
I think what it is, a lot of short people report crimes.
Yeah. But you can
He
see...
was huge. How tall? At least 6'6" or something. He was huge.
A giant of a man he was.
Anyway, the idea was an artwork called Levels, which was something to do with the idea that people from business and meetings and everything else should all be the same size. Anyway, what are the gimps searching for?
That's a Travelodge curtain.
I love that you recognise it.
That is... Anyway, that's the curtains.
It's impossible to tell with the old zip done up. It would help, like, you probably don't know where the station is, do you?
Is it an acronym?
Ah.
Great, giant Italian men posturing slowly.
Great is right, great.
Is the MP magnetic pulse?
No, but I love the way you're thinking.
All right.
Is it searching for an extraterrestrial life?
It is searching, but it's searching for something much
for a
closer to
hero.
home or, indeed, wider in the universe.
Parking space. P.S. Parking space.
It's a great something, and the S is a search. So it's a great something, something, something search. It's using computers.
Michael
Since
Parkinson?
1996...
Mum porn.
It could have been a man porn, so that's not that difficult. But in 1996, from 1996 onwards, a lot of people have devoted the time of their computers to run a little program which helps search for something very rare and extraordinary, which mathematicians are
Prime
always...
numbers.
Prime numbers. Mathematicians...
before you.
did.
You
did.
just got it in there.
I
The
think
great
mathematical
internet Mersenne prime search.
Yeah.
A Mersenne prime number is a very particular kind of prime number. What is a prime number, if you can
One
just...
that's divisible only by itself and 1.
Is the right answer. So we start with 2, 3, 5, 7, 11, 13, 17, 19,
They go into
23,
numbers
etc.
with-
Yeah, exactly.
Thousands of digits, don't they?
They found like a million-digit
Oh,
prime,
well,
haven't they?
17 million. 17, way over 17 million digits. But the thing is, there's no system behind it. And great mathematicians like Erdos, the great Hungarian mathematicians, have always tried to find some system behind it. And to this day, computers are battling away, trying to find
a
it.
haystack, isn't it?
So what's a Mersenne?
A Mersenne prime is a very particular prime. It's 2 to the power n, i.e. 2 to the power anything. So 2 squared, 2 cubed, 2 to the power 4, 2 to the power 5, minus 1. So 2 squared, is 4, minus 1 is 3. That's a Mersenne prime. 5 is not a Mersenne prime, but 2 cubed, which is the next power up, is 8, minus 1 is 7. That is a Mersenne prime. And the longest prime number as yet discovered, while I'm speaking, is 17,425,170 digits long. That's not the number itself, that's how many
You're
digits
right
it
to
is.
ooh.
You're right to ooh, and to some extent you're right to ah.
You'd be annoyed if your bill came to that in a restaurant.
And that is a Mersenne prime, which is what's so fascinating about it.
I'm excited now about maths in a way I've never been. Thank you.
Good. Well, there you are. That's it. GIMPS is searching for ever bigger prime numbers. Now, back to the front. This is the Goliath. Where did the driver sit?
It didn't have one.
Is the right answer.
Come on.
Yes. Quite right. If we zoom out, we can see that it
Bill,
is...
what's his name? Butlin.
Yeah. They are quite small tanks. It appears to have a Tommy there with his rifle slung.
I say, sir, what on earth are these? I've got no idea. Keep smiling.
But, well, you're right. They wouldn't know what they were. They just discovered them because they're not British. They are. In fact, it's the invention of...
The Hun.
The Hun, the Bosch, Jerry. It's an automatic, or at least remote-controlled tank, which is actually a mine known as Goliath, and they contained a bomb, and you remote-controlledly drove it into an enemy territory and...
Do those soldiers know they contain bombs?
I think they'd disarmed them by this time.
OK, good.
But in terms of miniature weapons of this kind, the Americans really beat the Germans in quite a disgusting way. Do you know the Davy Crockett?
Is it going to be a miniature sub?
It's worse than a miniature sub. It's a
Oh,
portable
good. Is
launcher.
it a suicide bomber raccoon? With a...
It's a portable launcher to be
Trained.
mounted on a jeep. And what do you think it carried?
Bubble gum.
Bubble gum.
Oh.
A lavatory. I like the idea. It's good that you're thinking. No.
Who?
It was worse. It was a small nuclear bomb. You could actually carry a small nuclear bomb. 75 pounds only. And in case you wanted to know what 75 pounds was, it's the same as an 11-year-old boy, 5 racing bicycles, 100 cans of beer, 300 apples, or 262,500 bees.
That's like the worst ever conveyor belt on the Generations.
So true.
I'm glad you said that, because I always wonder what things are in bees. My favourite unit.
Over 250,000 bees. Yeah, there you are. 2,000 were deployed in Europe between 61 and 71 to deter the Soviet forces. The nuclear yield could be switched between 10 and 20 tons, which is a huge amount in terms of nuclear yield.
And were these things used?
No, fortunately. They also, the Special Forces, had something called the Special Atomic Demolition Munition, or SADM, rather bizarrely, which could be carried in a backpack. And these were backpack nukes.
Oh, what?
Yes, I know, it's weird, isn't it? On battlefronts ranging from Eastern Europe to Korea and Iran. Although small, each one of them was more powerful than the atomic bombs dropped on Nagasaki and Hiroshima.
You would be like Bagsy not carrying that one.
Yeah.
Not my...
But lots of them were carried, but fortunately, none were used, as far as we know.
This show's really changed since WikiLeaks.
We've got so much more information at our hands. Thank you, Edward, again. It is astonishing, isn't it? It's amazing. As you say, a soldier carrying an atomic bomb with more power.
He looks like he's just set his off and it's ticking.
Yeah. I think we've sort of put that together because we don't actually have a shot of one with... But that's a soldier with a backpack.
What soldier?
Anyway, what's the best way to get shit out of a tank?
2 in the front, 2 in the back.
Fire it out the barrel?
Fire it out the barrel is the right answer! Brilliant.
Oh, yeah.
That's a war you don't want to be in, isn't it?
You could have waved your little Lou thing, because it is, of course, a lavatorial answer.
Which the Russians used to do, T-34s.
How did you know that? That's rather sick of you.
Yeah.
The T-34 is the bus from Twickenham to Kempton, isn't it?
And you can sling your shit out of the side of it at the time.
It was a man called Alexander Georgievich Semenov of St. Petersburg, who was granted a patent for his method of bio-waste removal from isolated dwelling compartment of military facility and device for its implementation.
I tell you what, let's just stick an eye on front of that. There's sort of a million of them.
In plain English, it got rid of a tank crew's excrement by firing it out of the barrel at the enemy. And he described it thus: the military psychological positive effect takes place. Comprehension of the facts of delivering and distribution on enemy equipment and uniform, as well as the opportunity of informing other soldiers and the enemy about it. In other words, covering the enemy with shit is good for morale because it's funny.
I love the fact that that got way bigger. The idea of being hit with poo is much worse than the nuclear bomb.
But it is, really, isn't it?
It is, yeah, I go with it.
The 20 seconds after you've been hit by that is worse than 20 seconds after you've been hit by a nuclear bomb.
You're vaporised, exactly, or just what do you do with that? You vomit, it's horrible. Horrible, horrible, horrible.
Beautiful story.
It is a lovely story, and I'm happy to share it with you. Now, what did the chap on the left here have that was twice as big as the chap on the right?
I don't know. Are these chaps inventors, Stephen?
No.
Is it to do with their beards?
No, they're both very, very famous. They're both 19th century.
Are they philosophers?
One of them won a Nobel Prize, the other didn't.
Oh, is it Nobel Prize cabinet?
You are faster than the speed of light, and No, it's not that. It could easily be. Definitely deserve points for that. The one on the right was hugely fashionable for a time. His name is Anatole France, and he won the Nobel Prize for Literature. The one on the left was a great literary figure, still much more highly regarded as a literary figure than the one on the right.
Is it Twitter following?
Neither of them, to their eternal shame, has a Twitter following.
How do you win a Nobel Prize for Literature if you don't Twitter?
It seems inconceivable, doesn't it? I know, I know. The one on the left, his initials, though, are slightly to do with Twitter. His initials are IT.
Is he Russian?
Yes. So if it's I, it's got to be...
Igor.
Ivan is the right answer. Month in the country.
Turgenev?
Fathers and sons, Ivan Turgenev is the right answer. So you have Ivan Turgenev and you have Anatole France. One had something that was double the size of the other.
Is it right hand or left hand?
No, but you're right to be physical. It's about their bodies. Maybe
Well, everyone's thinking it. They might as well go...
No. It's quite fun to sit here when the word penis just flashes.
The number of times that's happened to him, I don't know. It's not.
Brain.
Brain is the right answer. You bring back a few points to yourself.
Oh, come on, it must match up.
Well, that's the thing.
You can't lose more for saying cock than you get for saying brain.
You know that a Jackson... Yeah, Turgenev's brain is twice the size of Anatole France's, or was, and Anatole France won the Nobel Prize and Turgenev didn't. Not that that's anything to do with it, but it is quite surprising, because generally speaking, it's held that brain size is to do with intelligence, although there are manifold exceptions. But in the case of Turgenev and Anatole France, well, Turgenev's brain was 4 pounds 6 ounces, and France's was 2 pounds 4 ounces, almost exactly half.
Can you feel the weight of your brain? Is that a thing?
Yes, I
If you've got a
can.
heavier brain,
Yeah.
is it...
It's really upsetting. Size isn't everything, it seems. However, just how small can you feel?
Right. So is this your ability to feel tininess?
It is, well spotted.
A human hair's pretty small.
Hairs are small, yeah.
You can't feel that if it's resting on your hand, but if you put it between your finger, you can.
Pollen. Can you feel pollen?
Depends what you're feeling it with.
Yes.
Look,
Yes.
I'm doing this. Look, I'm
You're
doing this
using
like
your
I'm playing a
fingertips.
tiny violin.
It's your best feely
Okay,
things.
fingertips.
So it's only in 2013 they started to do experiments, really, to try and find out. And they used a very, 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 very smooth surface to try and get the friction. And it's absolutely extraordinary what they discovered. And that is that we can feel, with our fingers, something as small as 13 nanometers high, which is to say the size of a single molecule. which in itself would be 10 times smaller than a bacterium. Fortunately, we can't feel bacteria, because that would drive us crazy, because they're everywhere.
We used to do that game at parties where you had to feel molecules, but you had to wear a big pair of gardening gloves as well. It's impossible.
But human fingers do this by sensing vibrations from the friction. And it is absolutely astonishing. And you can test it, because you can put something on a surface that's smooth and put these tiny things and say, stop when you feel it.
How smooth is smooth?
Yeah. Are we talking like Magic FM?
Let's
That's too smooth.
Too smooth.
Yeah.
let's butter your back, Stephen, and get some molecules on there. And let it all feel.
The research team created invisible wrinkles of 16 different heights. The smallest detectable ones were 7,000 times thinner than a sheet of paper. There you are. Makes you wonder, though, why we can never find the end of a roll of sellotape.
Hey.
How is that? Anyway, you'd be surprised just how small people feel sometimes. Now, fingers on buzzers, please, because it's time for general ignorance. Where is the second biggest film industry based? Yes.
Nigeria.
Oh, it's the right answer.
I was...
Were you going to say that? Very impressive. And so it is called, of course,
Nollywood.
Nollywood is the right answer. Absolutely right. Bollywood is the biggest. Nollywood is the second biggest. Nollywood was founded by Kenneth Nebwe in 1992 when he bought in a huge number of VHS cassettes from Taiwan, and he figured that he could sell them better if he put something on them, because they were blank. So he quickly made a film which was called Living in Bondage. And it was about a man who achieves power and wealth by killing his wife. But she comes back to haunt him and destroys his happiness and sanity. And it sold 750,000 copies. So immediately people started to follow his bandwagon. And this extraordinary studio system, well, it's not really a studio system because it has so few facilities, but it's incredibly successful. They turn out 30 films a week.
They churn them out.
They really do.
We once made a TV show in Nigeria, and we turned up. It was a quiz show. We turned up. There was a field. They built a studio, built everything inside it. We filmed it. They then dismantled the whole thing, and we all went home.
Really?
Yeah, for 1 half-hour TV pilot.
Was that Pointless Nigeria?
It wasn't Pointless Nigeria.
Wow, that's amazing. Now, which country's armed forces' official march is about a tramp by a pond being accosted by a farmer because he's stolen a sheep in his lunch bag?
Australia?
Oh, what a shame.
Sounds a bit like it, though, doesn't
It's exactly like it because it is an exact translation of
Waltzing
Waltzing Matilda. But Waltzing Matilda is not an official march in Australia. But it is the official march of a country's military.
Oh, I bet it's one of the African countries, isn't
It's
it?
not, bizarrely.
It's one of the Asian countries.
No.
It's like way deep down there in South America.
No, that's the right area, except not south.
Caribbean, Central America,
not-
Nicaragua, like Honduras type place. Panama, I want to say Panama.
Belize. I'm going to say Belize. I'm going to say...
If you get it when I've done 15,
Belize.
El Salvador.
Costa Rica.
No, go big.
Mexico.
Even bigger.
America.
The United States of America, amazingly.
Get out
The
of town.
1st Marine, the 1st Marine Division, there they are. They
Tall
have...
soldiers.
Yeah, the 1st
I
Marine...
love you. March to me.
I love she's just like, oh.
She's come out the wrong door.
That's my PA, Kelly.
Hats off.
The 1st Marine Division used Waltzing Matilda because of their relationship with the Australian Army in World War II. But there's no Australian military force that uses it officially. Of course, they can play what they like.
They were trying to have it as their national anthem, weren't they? But it was outvoted, I think.
By
Advance Australia Fair.
Advance Australia Fair, which is one of the official marches, the other being God Save the Queen. There's also the British Royal Tank Regiment's Slow March. So the fact is, if you hear Waltzing Matilda coming at you in an official capacity, it's Americans attacking you, not Aussies. Or our own chaps, but very slowly. When a chicken lays an egg, which end comes out first?
Oh, God, I'm not answering.
The big end.
Yes! That's right.
Shut up! I was going to say that.
We can actually... we've actually got a glove which sort of reproduces an oviduct, you know, a little egg-laying tube. So you can try and... What happens is, in utero, the egg is little end down, and then it turns round. Yeah, very good.
I'm going to start campaigning for epidurals for chickens.
There you are. You can let the big end out. Can you... Oh,
Are these hard
no,
boiled?
this
Because
is so
this is...
sore.
oh,
I
there you
made
are.
one.
Well, yes, you can. Oh, dear. It is a rubber egg, as you've been...
That's why you're not a hen gynecologist.
But you should have... Have you got a real egg down there?
I've got a real egg in a cup.
Oh, now be careful with the real egg. Put it over the
Why,
cup.
are they fragile, Stephen?
Well, no. They're not fragile, Alan. And if you obey this picture, put the egg in your hand like this and squeeze as hard as you like.
Yeah,
you
you
shouldn't
can't
be able to break it. Yeah.
What do I got to do?
Squeeze. As hard as you can to break it. But you can't, can you?
No.
Very, very strong. And that's the thing, eggs aren't very...
But-
You can try it at home, ladies and gentlemen.
If any of you had done it, I would have married you, goddammit.
How do they stamp them, Stephen?
Well, they've got a little thing inside their little hand. A little printing event that goes on just as it comes out, giving its best before date. Yeah.
The cartridges to refill a chicken are really prohibitively expensive.
Well, yes, you've rather revealed my dream.
Meanwhile, on the chicken farm, Barnes Wallace.
And so, having spent a little time having it large with you all, it's time to look at the scores. Well, it's extraordinary, it's wonderful, it's terrific, and it's marvellous, because in first place, by quite a margin, that's to say by QI standards, it's Lucy Porter with 8 points! In second place, 5 behind, with +3, is Phil Jupiters. And surprising, given the depth and breadth of his knowledge, with -16 in third place is Richard Osman.
Really rubbish.
But bringing up his all too familiar rear with -27 is Alan Davies. So it's thanks from Lucy, Phil, Richard, Alan and me, and I'll leave you with the last words of Nostradamus as he lay dying, probably making what was his only accurate and only unambiguous prediction. Tomorrow, I shall no longer be here. Good night.